Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode from TCG 353. I am Jamie and today we are playing a green yellow Yamato list. If you want to subscribe, feel free to do so, and let's talk about this first game. Search out the 5-cost Yamato, which is a new EVO 3 card which gives 3 rested onto your leader, and also on KO your opponent trashes a life from their hand. Or from their trashes a life from their life. We search on our second turn and we take a Kinemon, attach 2 Dawn to our leader. They give us an event, so they are staying healthy for the time being. They have ramped on their turn, so now they're sitting at 5 Dawn and they swing 6 into us, leaving 1 Dawn up. We play out the Yamato and attach 3 rested Dawn to our leader to get a double attack off, and then we swing 5. The sequencing here is a little important for us, because we don't want to swing the 5 and give them free counter. Our opponent's now on 7 Dawn. They're soon to be 8 Dawn. They play with a Scopper Command who draws 2 and trashes 1. Our opponent has the prospect of swinging 6 at us now and clearing this Yamato off the board. We will allow this Yamato to go, and also we will consider taking a life from that 6k swing as well, although we do have 2k's in hand. You can see we're running that Otama searcher here that didn't make the final Decklist cut. It's just that it searches only for green land Wano cards, and our deck is much more yellow heavy. This also didn't make the cut, this Cavendish here, just a complete TCG card moment that we didn't actually read the card, and we didn't gain the 2 rested on because our leader is of course not a supernova type leader. But look, we kept this game in because it is a good game actually when you look past the blatant blunder by myself. We swung 7 at them, they countered, they took the 6 and they countered out of the 5 as well. They're able to swing 2 into our Yamato because it's 0 power, and they then swing into the Cavendish. Of course you can have that Cavendish, it's no problem. And now we see what makes this Yamato so good is that our opponent doesn't really want to swing into it because they don't want to trash a card from the top of their life. They would have been able to clear the board otherwise. Our opponent swings 9 into our 5. We draw the Supernova Freeze event from that, but it doesn't do much for us. You see something really cool here with this deck, that we bounce the Banish back to hand. We play the Banish, bounce it back to hand so we can banish next turn, and we play out the 5-cost Yamato who attaches rested Dawn. So we get a lot of value here, swing a Double Attack Banish at them that they have to counter out of, and we swing 8 into their 7, which they don't have counter for. We also have a blocker up in this law, and we have decent enough counter. We have 6k counter in hand, or 7k counter in hand, no Dawn up for the event, so just 7k at the moment. We'll see how our opponent wants to do this turn, whether they want to go all into us or whether they want to split their Dawn. If they went all in, I don't think they'd have a bad time of doing it, but they're just considering that now. What I think an optimal split would probably be 10, 11, and 12. That would most likely not do the job actually, thankfully enough. So our opponent chooses not to do that. They use the Zoro, and you see again, because our Yamatos are turned sideways, usually this character rush would be terrifying for us, but it's actually not, because they can't swing into it without trashing a life from themselves. Very strong, of course, or we are able to counter out of that, and we are now waiting for our opponent to swing into us. They swing 10. We are hoping for them to swing 9 and leave it down up for an event because we'd be able to block and protect that law. But as it looks now, we are not able to do so. We play out this Banish card, and you might be thinking, why did you go and do that? Why did you do that, Jamie? The reason is that with our leader ability, 2 Dawn is actually nothing because we can attach a rested Dawn. So that was basically a free banish for our leader, and getting a banish off against them will be very useful in case they're able to draw into counter. So now we're just thinking on how we're going to do this and how we're going to spread out the Dawn. I mean, there's no way we can survive a crackback, so there's no point in trying, in my opinion anyway. And here we choose to swing the 10 first. In my opinion, the reason we're doing this here is so that we can swing with the 6 rather than the 5. I think it's more optimal to swing with 2 of our 6 characters here. Because our opponent is 9k, it's very important to do that. You see here our opponent must have pulled into the 2k off the top of life and searches the Zoro, which doesn't do much for them. So good game to our opponent. They were just so bricked up. I think we learned a lot from that game. Now let's get into our next one. Let's talk about this match against Blue Red Ace. We are going second. Our opponent is going first. On their first turn they have nothing to do. They don't have a searcher, so they pass. And on their second turn they are able to draw into a Yamato. That's us. After searching a Garp, or so they search for the Yamato with the Garp rather. We swing a big fat double attack at them and ask for a bunch of cards out of hand. It is better for them, of course, to counter out early, even if it is heavy, because a double attack against a 3k or 3 life leader is very, very scary, 100%. We'll now see what happens. We search our, I forget that guy's name. We search our 6 cost rush character that is quite unique to the Yamato deck, and we play out a 5 cost Yamato of our own to be able to attach 3 rested onto our leader. Our opponent plays a Yamato as well, but not really the Yamato we were expecting, to be honest. Swing 7 into us, we give them no counter, take a life, and with that 8k we give them 2k counter, 2/2ks. Now we are considering what to do here, whether we want to be a bit aggressive or whether we want to be a little bit defensive. We choose aggression over everything, of course. It's because we can activate a blocker and we'll have 1 life and our opponent essentially only has 2 swings. So we choose to be aggressive here and swing 10k Banish at them, and they do not have it in hand. We swing 6k afterwards and they give us the Roger and pass by attaching 2 rested onto that character. We give a blocker, so now we have 1 blocker up. And our opponent plays out a Zoro, which actually isn't very good against this green yellow Yamato deck, because this Yamato can't really be swung into without your opponent losing a life. So we give them 2/2ks here because their next swing 9k is going to be scarier. We give them the block for that. It would have been nice if they turned the Zoro sideways, because we'd be able to get off a nice freeze here, but look, we weren't so lucky. Now we're considering playing out the Borsa and letting the turn go a little longer. Our opponent does have 3 swings next turn, so we're keeping that in mind. We are going to swing into the Yamato rather than the leader. The reason for that is they are prompted to use leader effect once, yes, but they'll have to give us a 2k here rather than giving us a 1k. And our opponent doesn't have 2k, they only have 2 1ks which they give to protect the board. It's good from them, granted, but I do believe that that was a very good trade from us. If we had swung into their leader life, they would have just given us 1k, so that is good for us. Our opponent chooses to swing into the Yamato now, and ends up trashing the life. I don't know why they didn't do that earlier, maybe they just really want that off the board now. We get very lucky from life that we get a Kikinojo trigger. We are running them in the deck, so I mean it's going to happen that we get the triggers. And look how lucky we are, we get Kikinojo back to back. So now what we're going to do is consider for a second. Not only the cards in hand and how we get lethal from that, but also they have a blocker that's going to draw them 3 cards, so we have to factor that in as well. We really like swinging 8s against Ace, so that's what we're going to do. We also have that Momonosuke rush character in hand that can make her leader 6 and can be an 8k as well. So by us attaching 2 of those down to the Kikinojo, we are able to activate the ability, and we still have the leader ability to give 2 rested on, which is actually very, very strong when you think about it, how we can do the math here. We swing 8 with our leader, they give us counter, but they don't have enough, and we would have been able to swing 8 with the Borsalino as well. So good game to our opponent, we actually played that very well. And they did get unfortunate that they trashed a life at the end, but I mean, we had swings to be able to get through, as you saw from their hand size. So go get into our opponent. Let's go into the next one now. Hello, this is Jamie coming at you post-edit, because after reviewing the commentary on this, I really just didn't hit the nail on the head, so we're going to go back and run it again. What happened first is our opponent used a Rebecca and got the block ability activated on it, which kind of is a soul destroying moment when we are a double attack leader, because our 8k double attack swing can be chump blocked so easily, which is good for Lucy. They play out Xinjiao, which is a very cool card to see. It draws 2 and trashes 1 event. It also on KO makes your opponent bottom deck a card. So they swing 5 into us, and there's not much we can do here, and they swing into our leader, so we're on 2 life, but 2 life doesn't scare us all that much because we have 3 Borsalinos in hand. What we do is we give Banish to our leader, and Double Attack is our leader ability. When we play the Yamato down, we give True Rest to Don, so we get a Double Attack Banish off, which is very good. You see our opponent swung 5 into us, we countered that, and after they played on the Sabo, Fire Fisted the Yamato, they swung 9 into us, which we do take, so we are now on 1 life. We are debating whether to use a Kuma or a Borsalino. A Borsalino is a very steady option, so we go for it. The reason we use the Borsalino there is because we do want to be able to swing 9k. 9k is the number for this entire matchup, to be honest, and it will be what we'll be swinging throughout, just because they do have those Sabo blockers. Let me know in the comments if you guys know of a card that I could use for this build that would give me unblockable on my leader, because I think that would pretty much change this leader into something very, very threatening in the meta. I'm after getting a bit distracted. Our opponent played at Cavendish on their turn and swung into us. We have a Borsalino on board, and we have soon to be blocker, soon to be possibly another Borsalino. What we do is we bounce the Banish back to hand for a later turn, or possibly counter, and we pair the Borsalino out sideways. Borsalino is just to gain another life, and it can act as a jump blocker if our opponent does choose to swing into it. They don't for the moment. They attach 1 down to Cavendish, draw 2, trash 1, trashing a barrier pistol, and now our opponent is considering what to do. The 7k swings seem to be working for them so far, so I would not be surprised to see another 7k swing come out here. There it is, 7k swing into our leader, and now we are considering whether to take this or not. We, in this game, are really wanting their cards to turn sideways, especially the Sabo blocker. So if you notice in this game that we take life aggressively, it is because 1, we have pretty good self-heal in this build. We have Kumas and Borsalinos, which are very useful in this meta, but more than anything we do want them to have an idea that turning their Sabo sideways is a good idea. Our opponent knows it's not, so they leave us alone. We are eyeing up the Hiyori now, so the play that we would like to make is to play the Bounce Law into a Borsalino to gain life and also gain a blocker. We could have just played it a Borsalino and swung 9, of course we could have, but I like the idea of establishing 2 bodies in 1 turn, because I do feel like we can counter effectively and block effectively out of what our opponent has here. And as I mentioned earlier, the aim for us always is to get our opponent to swing with their blockers. They don't seem to be doing so far, but they do have 7 down up, which they are not using, thankfully enough. And now we are at the later stages of the game where going for lethal is probably not a possibility for us, but it is something that we really want to do. So we decide to attach Tridon to our Law blocker and play out the Momonosuke Rusher and just go big into our opponent. The hope here is that by us swinging 11 that they will not be able to counter out with their Sabo, but of course they can, and now we're hoping there's no Goldie Roger. Of course there is, and we automatically lose. The better line there, and this is why I want to do the commentary for this again, is that the better line here would absolutely be to use the Kuma and then use Kinemon, and with that then I would be able to freeze their Cavendish and their Chinjiao. Our opponent would of course have more events in hand to be able to go, and 3 blockers. It would be hard, but it would allow us to play another turn, which would be important. So good game to our opponent, and let's get into the last game of the video. And unfortunately I made a mock-up of the editing again, so here we are talking about the final match against Yellow Enel now. Post editing, we play out a 2-cost Otama, which maybe you haven't seen before, but what it does is that it, after taking a life from yourself, gives your leader plus 3000 power, and that's power not Dawn. And we have played down the Banish and we attach another Dawn, so swing 9 into an L for a Double Attack Banish, which is very, very strong. Or the opposing Enel plays down a Borsalino next turn to heal back the tree, which actually does them no favours because our Ashura Doji is then online, and we can then KO the Borsalino easily enough and attach Mordant to leader to get off another double attack. Our opponent swings 7 into us after playing out a Kiku, and we trigger out the Nekomamushi, which is a very good card in this deck. Having a body to trigger off life is really useful for Yamato to whittle down your opponent's hand size. It's also has counter, so it can act as if it is a Kiku Nojo, but it is functional in your hand. We use an A-cost double attack Banish swing again, that same sequence as earlier. The Banish is useful just to not have them card draw, and if they want to use leader ability, they'll trash a card. So I mean, they'll have to trash 2 cards there, and they trash 3 to protect their life, which probably wasn't the best line for them. What they do now in their next turn is they play out a Kiku, swing 7 at us, and swing 7 and swing 8. We take the 8, we block out of the 7. And now we are splitting our Dawn in such a way to see how our opponent feels about it. They give us a 3k event to counter out of the 7, and we attach Dawn with our Ashura Doji now, who is at 5k currently. We'll see what our opponent does from that. We attach another to make it 6. Our opponent takes a 6, so we poke with a 7, and now we're in an interesting spot where we can definitely live next turn because we have Dawn available for an event and we have a blocker, but we go for it anyway and we swing 8. We could have even swung 9 there, so good game to our opponent. And that is it for the video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope the constant change of audio doesn't bother you too much. It was fun putting these games together. Green Yellow Bonnie is a very quick leader. I think you mostly win within the first 5 turns, and if you don't, it doesn't have staying power really. But thanks to the Borsalino and the bounce low, you can actually heal through some hard times. The Kuma's good, and the Momonosuke Rusher is an excellent way to finish off games also. So fun decklist to play 100%, and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, make sure to leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see specific deck lists, you can comment and I'll try and get around to them. I love talking to you guys in the comments as well, so make sure to talk away to me. And if you want to keep on watching these videos, sure, you can subscribe happily out, and I would thank you so much for it. I'm posting every day, so I do appreciate the support. Without saying too much more, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye now.